Boom.
Biddle it, bo. Yes, yo. Here we go. You know what time it is. Get that badger in and on and over here. We've got to get on with it because clock watchers are in. The boom stays. My single's out. The link's below. Quick shit vid. Here we go. Yes. Clout Chaser's back. Just want to start with 6 teams are without a win in the Premier League in the first 5 games of the Premier League, which is a record. So I just thought I would make that statement, as everybody's sort of whinging on about how we've got on. What's that little tuft here? How we've been getting on. And obviously everybody dissing Farker. The distance is getting significantly bigger from the Championship to the Premier League. As we all know, it really is like a top 8 against a bottom 12, isn't it? But I just find it, them bottom 6 teams are basically in the Championship out of the way. I don't know what the solution would be. Gary Neville seems to think, for what it's worth, that, the more it sort of creeps down, that, and then the money that gets creeped down throughout each league needs to be more evenly distributed. People think you shouldn't get the parachute payments, but if you don't get the parachute payments, it doesn't encourage you to spend when you go up. I think teams probably get it about right, like Burnley did if they end up going back up. Just flip-flopping and try and just hang in there, build a decent side. Because what tends to happen, like what happened to us is we got rid of a lot of players, or we had to sell a lot because we went for it. If you just sort of keep a nucleus of a side that'll go back down with you and try and build and then win the Championship more convincingly and become stronger as a team and then try and hang in there. There is an argument to be said, just try and hang in rather than even Kinnear said it in that interview with whatever it's called. The square ball. Yeah, he said that, they probably went a bit too much for it. He didn't mention Rodrigo, but that was obviously a big signing at the time and stuff. So whether or not that was, over egging the pudding, and we've been better off sort of signing some solid players. And we said that we then went off and on and signed some solid players the year after, and it really didn't go well, did it? So, your Christensens and whatnot, which we'll get to in a minute, in fairness. Elland Road's getting expanded, so Kinnear also mentioned that, and that has come into the news now, so that is gathering some weight. Talking about 53,000, it would put us in the elite category, according to UEFA, which I don't need UEFA to say that we're elite, to know that we're elite, boy. We are elite. People are always moaning, as they do, that it'll ruin the atmosphere, but apparently we don't have an atmosphere, so you've got to make your mind up with that one. You can't ruin something that's already ruined. I'm just glad they don't want to move us. I remember when I was a kid, I don't know whether my dad would just try to scare me or not, but he did mention that there was talks years ago that we was actually going to move stadium altogether, which obviously I really don't want. But we do have to keep moving, guys, and it's the nature of the beast. It's likely that a lot of the tickets will become corporate and stuff, won't they? Like, I don't know whether it'll be boxes or what not with it, but, it's unlikely that they'll be allocated to a lot of these lads. It'll be more like when it goes round in. I never forget on last days at season when it used to be Mexican wave. Then it gets at corner when they're all just corporate and they'd all just stay sat down. Then it'd move on. It'd be like, and then it just and they'd have to catch it. Ridiculous. We're 16th Championship, boys. I'm loving it. Coventry on Saturday. It'll be a tough game. Will Bamford be back? A tough test. More on that tomorrow. No doubt about that. I want to discuss Victor Orta because he's been coming under fire now at Sevilla or Seville. They finished 14th last season, which is their worst league finish since they got relegated. They've been through 4 managers in a year and a half, or I think they got through 3 all of last season, and now they're on the 4th this season. The 4th now come in. They've got 2 wins in 7 games, and he started getting booed at a reserve. He went to a reserve game and he came out onto what would be the box or whatever it is, the viewing where they all view it from, the high rollers view it from, and he started getting booed. People were always extremely angry with him at Leeds, weren't they? And some quite literally fuming, some people still fuming, and blame a lot of the loanees that went out on him, blamed a lot of the contracts on him and stuff. I just thought it'd be interesting to go over his time at Leeds a little bit. I must say, the main frustration with me with Victor Orta was all the crying and the posturing, and I do think if you do that, it's a bit on that Jesse Marsh hype, whereas if you're doing that, you're going to end up, falling on your own sword. You're attracting a lot of attention to yourself. You are kind of, I'm reluctant to say people ask for things when they attract attention to themselves, because, you could argue I'm attracting attention to myself doing this, and if somebody came and chinned me, I think that would be rather unfair. But in terms of like taking all the plaudits for things, you've got to then take the boos, haven't you? So I thought we'd just have like a little run over what he did, who he brought in. How hard do you think it is to actually get players in? In reality, did he make some good signings? Does it warrant it? So I thought we'd start with his best signing ever. Kevin Augustin. Nah, I'm only messing. So there's Augustin, terrible. Casilla got a lot of shit, didn't he, Casilla? I'm not going to do all... He signed 68 players, and I'm not going to go through all 68, so don't worry about that. Casilla got a lot of shit. Now, I didn't mind that signing, and I actually thought he was quite good for the club. Now, hear me out. He had a couple of mistakes in him and what have you. But I think Casilla, on the whole, I think it created a mentality, and I think my man Bielsa was the master of the mentality. And I think he actually brought he came from Real Madrid. It's kind of like a big signing. He's a big dude. I know he had a mistake in him, and Meslier Silent S is definitely better. But I didn't mind Casilla. I thought it was like a bit of a statement. You all go on about your statement signings, don't you? Well, we brought somebody in from Real Madrid. I thought he did a decent job for us. Obviously, a couple of mistakes. Noted the ones in, him and Cooper when they used to fall over each other a little bit. Lawrence DeBock. So that didn't work out. Weston McKennie, he obviously got a lot of shit, but I think we were struggling with there. But again, he's come from a big side. I actually think there's a bit of a player in there with Weston McKennie, which I get loads of shit for. But, it's nature at beast. But he didn't have one hell of a throw-in on him. So, Rutter, he brought Rutter in. He didn't start very well for us. It was tricky for him in the Premier League, to say the least, but it was excellent for us last year. Wide Wild, which I can never say his name. Obviously, whatever. Anita, my guy Anita from Newcastle, who were decent, but, he got promotion in Championship with Newcastle, wore it. And then he never really played for us, to be fair. He never decent for us, but he did come for free, so, you get what you're given with that. Jack Clark, he was there during, I forgot his name. The Criers, I forgot his name. Victor Orta, he was there. Jack Clark's a good player, no doubt about that. Skip a few. Daniel James, that's a mint signing. Junior Firpo, that would now, you'd have to argue, is a mint signing. I think he's been ace for us. I'm hoping he gets that contract. A few people commenting saying that if we go back up to Premier League with Junior Firpo in, it's... Do you not remember how he played in the Prem? And I do, but I think he's worked it out. I think my man's got it. Christensen, terrible signing. Joel Robles, you all thought that he would be the answer to Meslier Silent S. It obviously never happened. Akuban got 2 goals in 21 games for Leeds. It's not a brilliant turnover. It's not a brilliant ratio. Brendan Aronson, again, one of the new ones that we brought in that didn't go very well, but... It's actually my point is with them that have come out and then come back in is we've been on a gravy train that these players have, Fark has referenced it a couple of times. What's he said? Where he said mistakes of the past, things that we've done in the past. Well, a few of the mistakes of the past are back and doing quite well, like Aronson, for instance. Leif Davis, that McKinstry, I actually thought he was quite decent, but he never really got out to his full potential. He went out on loan, didn't he? I don't know if he's now left. Lorente, again, we wouldn't have got him if he wasn't so injury prone. So, Clarkson, who again everybody thought was the antidote to Meslier Silent S. Pervader, again, that was a decent signing. Whoa, don't shoot me, but it was a decent signing. It just didn't happen for him. I think he showed a lot of promise to Pervader, and I think he still could do it at some level. Sacco. No. Barry Douglas. It's a decent signing. Nketiah, you all thought it was the antidote to Bamford. He couldn't get rid of Bamford. Tyler Roberts gets a lot of stick. It only cost $2.5 million. Decent player. Sam Greenwood. Not similar to Roberts by any means. That Samu says that was signed by Orta. That was a brilliant signing, but he just, it was a bit, I don't know, a bit mental, wasn't he? A bit on edge. Helder Costa, I think that's a mint signing. Leo Helder, not the best signing, but you know, everybody bangs on that he's actually better than he's let on. Lewis Bay, everybody talked about. Cody Drama, everybody talked about. Giabi, everybody talks about, and I think there probably is a player in Giabi. Robin Koch, in the grand scheme, was a decent signing in comparison to everybody else that we got in the Premier League. Mark Rocker, I thought it was a terrible signing. I thought it was shit. Adam Forshaw, that's an excellent signing. Struick, that's an excellent signing. Rodrigo, you all think that's an excellent signing. I actually think we're massively overpaid for what he actually gave us, but you all seem to fall in love with this passion that he shows. You know, scored 11 goals in 2022-23. You know, Bamford got 18 in one season, but nobody likes Bamford, but Rodrigo's got a much fancier name. Max Wobber, he's obviously back. Not for me. Joseph, again, going to kick on this year, hopefully. Sammy Perkins, Joe Geldart, Tyler Adams. That was a decent signing, didn't really work out. Somerville ended up being all your best mates. Sinistera, again, wouldn't have come to the club unless he was injury prone. Meslier, like I've said. Alioski, who is a tremendous signing. Patrick Bamford, who you won't like to say, but that's been an excellent signing. Nonto, excellent signing. Harrison, excellent signing. Ben White, excellent signing. Matthias Klick, excellent signing. And then, like everybody says, there's a guy online that seems to think that Rafinha is the best player of his lifetime that's ever been at the club. Unless he's 8, I'm not so sure that's true. But, you know, of my age, he says he's stat-based, this fella, but, you know, he can't be basing that on stats, because for me, there's no better overall player for the club, I'd have to say, than Lee Bowyer. But that will be, in my lifetime, that will be highly contested by a lot of you. I know there's a lot of Radaby lovers and a lot of all sorts of different types of players. There's hundreds of them who would be, but Bowyer's not only my favourite, he also, you know, was joint top goal scorer with Raul in the Champions League. I think people forget just how mint Bowyer was. I did a video ages ago about who's better out of Bowyer and Kuhl. And Kuhl's better technically, but you'd have to argue that them years Bowyer gave us were exceptional. But that's what I think. What do you reckon? I sound like Russell Brand then, but that's just what I think. What do you think? Yes!
Boom.
JackCity, bitch. JackCity, bitch. Hey!
I don't wanna play no games. No, I don't wanna play no games. No, I don't wanna hear your promises. You do you and I'll do me. That's just the way it is. Don't wanna ever feel surprised. That's why I ask no.